Okay. Oh, shoot. I gotta remember our intro. Oh, wait. You count down. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Marshamites. Welcome to another edition of the Marsham Toy Hour. I'm Theresa Hawkins.
And I'm Gary Ham.
And look at me go, Gary. I'm leading the charge.
I like it. I like it a lot. As mentioned on the last episode, we've done 150, and I've been on all of them, and I get to edit all these things. So I'm personally sick of hearing my voice. I'm sure the listeners are too. So I'm going to take a little bit of a back seat. I'm going to take the George role this time. I'm just going to sit back, enjoy listening to the conversation, and maybe I'll jump in once or twice.
Well, I hope you say more than that, but I know you're also fighting a cold, so I'm here to lead the way and let you sit in the back seat for a bit.
Where is George, speaking of which?
Yeah, so we got some text. I thought he was going to be on, but he asked to sit out. He is pulling the typical artist move of he got pulled into a show and is working up to the last minute. I don't know if it was procrastination or what, but there's apparently going to be a show at Clutter October 12th. It's called Monsters. It's an art show, and I guess George is going to have a piece in it.
Nice. Sounds like a plug to me, though.
Well, George asked us to mention it. So, yes, a little baby.
He's finally doing a custom for something. He hasn't done one in a while, and he's excited and wants people to know about it. I get that.
I actually didn't. I can't remember the last time he did anything for a show.
No idea.
It must have been. I don't know, but I tried. I actually was like, oh, well, let me see if Clutter's promoted it all. And I think they're focused on this 5 points fall fest thing they got going on. So I think they're focused on putting that, but hopefully we'll start seeing more about this monster show that's coming up. But okay, so we have a guest today. Before I introduce them, there's one other thing I gotta say. On our Muji World episode, at the end, you left in all of this after talk and made it sound like we're gonna have this bonus episode. And I think all these people are thinking, okay, there's this bonus episode coming, and I think we gotta let everyone know that it's totally not happening.
It's totally not happening, but it almost happened. It was so close. I had it edited. I actually had it uploaded to Facebook because it was going to be exclusive content for the Facebook group members. And then I had a text thread with you and George going on, and both of you, even though you had not heard the edited version, which I think was safe for public consumption, both of you decided it was probably best not to upload it because some of the discussion did stem from some toy drama that occurred earlier in that week that drama had settled, and we just didn't want to kick that back up again.
Exactly. We didn't want to stir the pot.
That, and one of the conversations that ended up in the extra footage was all about Designer Toy Universe, a Facebook group that got shut down by Facebook for a little bit. But by the time I edited it and almost released it, it had popped back up again. So that would have been a kind of a moot or non-conversation. And the other one, I think, was a great discussion that we can have at a later date. It was all about customs. What is a custom? What's a release? Is it a custom if there's no artist behind it? And that sort of stuff. But if you're bummed that the episode didn't release, then you should be upset at George and Theresa because I did the work.
Well, put it out in the world then, Gary. I'm not going to debate you on this anymore. Let's move on. Let's bring our guest into the chit-chat.
Yes, please. Let's do it.
So, hold on. I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to make it sound
so excited. Sorry.
So it's actually been a while since we've done a collector's episode, so we're bringing it back. Our guest is actually someone who didn't join our scene that long ago. She's pretty new to the scene, but I like to consider her an Instagram extraordinaire. She kind of popped up out of nowhere, but has gained quite a following over a short period of time, and she kind of does it all. She collects. She does toy customs and artwork, photography, interior design. I kind of like to refer to her as the Sarah Harvey 2.0. So welcome, KayMay Creates.
That was amazing, Theresa. Thank you.
You're
I think
welcome.
You like me more than my own family. Yeah, that's awesome.
See? I told you I could make it all. I like drum roll you in all cool like.
I'm blushing over here. I love it.
Well, okay, so I got to clear the air on something first because I will be honest, I'm confused. You'll notice I welcomed you using your Instagram name because I honestly don't know what your real name is. So on your Instagram, it implies that your name is KayMay. But then on Facebook, your Facebook is Kara Mason. Who are you?
Okay, so you're actually not the first, and I'm positive not the last person to ask that. I think that actually stemmed from me just not having any freaking clue what I'm doing. So I never had an artist Facebook because I guess I never really considered myself to be an artist. So I've just been using my personal Facebook, and I don't think that's a very wise idea anymore. I think I definitely need to go ahead and just make my KayMay Facebook if that's what I'm going to do. But I think I've just been assuming the title of Kay, or Queen Kay, if you will. No, totally joking.
Oh.
But
Self-titled?
Self-proclaimed, yes.
Okay, so KayMay is your like alias.
I'd say so, yeah. I'd say that's kind of like the artist title. That's what I've been signing things. So KayMay is just short for Kara Mason, yeah, which is like super lame. So
it's not lame, and I'm the lame one for not even realizing KayMay was short for Kara Mason.
Is that not obvious? Was that not obvious, you guys? Should I change it? I'll change it. I'll do it.
No! I adore KayMay.
We are not the brightest bulbs on this show.
Oh
well, I've had a lot of people approach me and ask me about Mary Kay and stuff, so I don't know if it's reading very well. We'll see. I'm still figuring out the branding, right? So
I think it's cute, and I love alliteration. And real quick, I gotta ask, what is this beepy noise in the background?
I think that is my air conditioner. It's been literally beeping since the day I got in here. I don't know how to turn it off. I don't even know. I can't pinpoint it. Let me look around.
It's cute. It's like a do-do-do-do.
I cannot do any wrong in your eyes, Theresa. I love this. You're like, the beeping is cute. Your name is cute. I love it.
It's like a little jingle.
Yeah, let's see. Cancel. I'm going to cancel this. I think it is exactly that. Well, thank you, Theresa. You've just pushed me to figure that out. Awesome.
Look, there you go.
It's been
I'm just here for
You two are just hitting it off. What chemistry so far. Kara, you don't know this, but usually we go into an episode, especially with a new guest like yourself, we don't know if we're going to have chemistry with them. We don't know if they're shy. We don't know if they're a conversationalist. We don't even know what their voice sounds like. But so far, you guys are hitting it off.
I look like a bitch. I will admit. People tell me I'm very unapproachable, so...
You got resting bitch face? No.
Gary, you could just see your way out of this conversation. Go full on joke.
Yeah, I'm just going to go in the other room. Let me know when it's over, and then I'll edit it.
Hey, guys. This is Theresa and Kay here. We've got our guest Gary on tonight.
No, I'm not on. I'm going to just grab a book and go over there and have a read.
We've chatted a bit through Instagram and stuff, and it's always just been so easy to talk to you. So I had this hunch. I was like, you're going to be great.
Ironically enough, I think it was the photo of your 20-inch stag, Theresa, that made me like find you and follow you. So it's just ironic. Here we are, all three of us. So
look at that. You brought us together, Gary. You and your stag.
Yay.
You and your beautiful art.
Now, Kara, before we get rolling, I do have a second thing to bring up with you. We booked this with you several months ago. We wanted to be your first. But since we had this date booked, you've been seeing others. You've been dating around. You've did an interview with the Toy Chronicle and Mighty Jax. What's going on? Are we just third fiddle, or are we third time's a charm?
You guys, they didn't mean anything. I had you in the back of my mind the entire time.
Just frivolous dating around?
I had to test my options.
Okay, I get that.
No, I think it was because it's so much easier for me to just type something up on my phone, rather than like sit down and make this commitment. Also, you guys know I was being so picky about that snowball mic, and I didn't even end up using it. So whatever. That's just me being particular.
She was doing a few one night stands, kind of testing the waters, and now we're the real deal. They're three times a charm.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm here now, aren't I?
We appreciate it.
It was worth the wait, Gary.
It was worth the wait.
Actually, I think I'm the one who appreciates this, though, for real, you guys. Like, this is such a crazy opportunity. This is really cool. I've listened to Marsham a few awesome times, and I dedicate a lot of hours to you guys. So thank you so much. This is really great.
Well, it's nice to hear. Glad we can finally make it happen. But enough banter. Let's get to the meat.
Yes. Well, so I was going to actually ask you. So I referred to you as the Sarah Harvey 2.0, and I know you're a bit newer to the scene. Are you familiar with Sarah Harvey?
There is an image of Sarah Harvey's, and it's probably of her rainbow shelving units. And that was the picture that made me like kind of realize, hey, these are more than just sculptural objects, but they're also decor. So yeah, I'm very, very familiar with Sarah. We mutually follow each other on Instagram. Obviously, her baby, her whole family, her whole life. It's just so picturesque. So yeah, very familiar.
For those that may not be familiar, Sarah is actually someone that I also kind of found on Instagram and delved into the scene more because of what she was posting. It was actually, I was really into Momiji dolls, and I found a post she had done of her Momijis, and then I started delving into her account, and then you start seeing her rainbow shells and all this stuff, and this is awesome, and I want my house to look just like hers. And it sounds like you had a very similar experience, because one of the things that I've noticed with you is you've really made toys a part of your home, just like Sarah has.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, first off, yeah, Sarah, not to kiss more butt, but you are super influential. And I'm positive, like you just articulated, like she has that effect on so many people. And I think it's kind of like, it's our job and our duty as collectors to kind of, I don't know, I feel like hopefully, ideally, I've opened up people's eyes, at least some of my friends, as far as displays and stuff. Again, how this is more than just a community of collectors, but it's like a fine art community, and it's a sculptural community, and it's also a social community. But yeah, I mean, these things don't have to just come home and be on a shelf. They can truly be integrated in every part of your life. Like, it might sound a little crazy, but I bring a dunny everywhere I go, in my purse or in my bag or in my pocket or my car. So yeah.
It's okay. I've done the same thing. I've actually been terrible lately about keeping up with my Instagram and taking photos. But don't worry, I've done the exact same thing. Like, whenever I go on trips and stuff to Florida or to events, I'm always like, ooh, should I pack a few toys in my bag for photos along the way?
You also just had another baby, didn't you? So you're quite busy.
If you're talking about dog baby, yes. Let's clarify that. Because no human babies on my side.
Just the ones with all the fur, right? The cute kind. No, I'm joking. Yeah. But yes, I bring them everywhere. I love them so much. They're more than just toys. And I think a lot of people can share that sentiment.
So we'll dig more into the interior stuff in a bit, but to just kind of get a little bit of background. So from some of the interviews you've done, some things I've read, I know you're quite new to the scene. You've only been collecting for about a year. Is that right?
Yep.
I mean, that's, to me, okay, first of all, I'll just say it's nuts to me, because I swear you almost have as much as me that I've collected in like 6-7 years. You like went all in. You just jumped ahead and bought it all. So I love that. It seems like Dunnies were your gateway into the scene.
I think Dunnies definitely were. So I literally started with Dunnies. I bought a lot of 15 of them for like $12 without really realizing what they were. I think I had heard of them, from like advertisements a few years ago. And I think maybe my school had my middle school had some sort of initiative with them. But other than that, I really had no idea that this designer community existed, or that Dunnies or Kid Robot existed. So I bought these things without knowing what they were. And I remember just sitting in my car like a grown-ass woman holding these toys and just feeling some type of way,
Yeah.
So yeah, it started with Dunnies, and it's probably going to end with Dunnies. I don't think I'll ever get rid of all of them. I'm sure it seems like people go through kind of cyclical cycles of thinning out the collection, and that makes sense, but I'll probably always have my Dunnies.
Are you a collector at heart and were into collecting other things prior to this, or kind of into art stuff? Or was this just kind of a random offshoot sort of thing for you?
So I never, ever, ever claimed the title of like an artist or a visual artist or anything like that. I did technically attend 3 years of a visual arts college, as well as 4 years of a visual arts high school. So as far as fine art goes, that's about the extent of it. But there was nowhere along the line that I feel like anybody really brought that to my attention. So yeah, as far as toys, I'd say I'm pretty darn new to this. And it's just a world that is like expanding constantly. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
It's so hard. My wallet agrees.
I know, right? Well, so as a kind of related note, I mean, is your day job in the arts, or is your day
so yes. So literally, everything I purchased, I made a promise to myself after I realized that not everything is as cheap as Dunnies, and I made a promise that none of this toy money would come out of my like life money. So all of the toy money comes from my custom work. And recently that's just been how I've been supporting myself. It's been a very fortunate journey, a very welcoming journey so far. So if I can just keep up that energy, ideally, I'd like to push this and hopefully not get some sort of corporate structured job right now, at least.
It's funny you mentioned price of stuff, because I know we talk a lot about sticker shock and how a lot of people, their gateway in is lower price stuff, and over time you kind of you start paying more and more and more. You just kind of went all in. Did you ever hit sticker shock? Because I mean, I know you collect across the board. You collect everything from a dunny up to a cause. So you've seen it all. Do you just not even sneeze the price? If you want it, you're going to get it?
No. So I will also concede that while I might have an extensive collection, I'm a bargain hunter at heart. I'll argue I definitely, like, I'm a stingy bitch. Really, I've just gotten involved with a number of collectors that also have really great connections. And so I usually won't spend too much. If I feel like I'm getting a deal, and if I feel like the love is really there, I usually don't second guess it. I think I've made one purchase that was a little crazy, and it was my Stephen Harrington. And I really bit the bullet on that one, got really excited, bought it for a little bit over retail. And then next thing you know, it was selling online with like this little code and free shipping. And I was like, God, so messed up there, learned my lesson. But I really do take my time if I like a piece. And I know who to ask, and I ask around. But yes, sometimes the sticker tag, I'm just like, what the hell are y'all thinking? Someone paid that. But
and
it is what it is.
See, and there was, I've gotten better, and I like to bargain hunt too. And I've learned my lesson of trying not to get too into the hunt and forgetting the retail price of stuff. I won't lie. I've paid over retail for various things in my collection because I really wanted them, and I was in the hunt mode, and I just said, screw it. I mean, I try to be aware of value and not go too crazy. But probably my biggest splurge when it comes to way beyond what it was probably worth and valued was the Amanda Vassell wood Labbit, the little 5-incher. So, Gary, you want to take, so this thing is, yes, it's absolutely freaking adorable. I had my eyes on it for the longest time. It was this toy that was released way before I even got into the scene. And I kept looking for it, and it just wasn't popping up. And it finally popped up, and the price was absurd. And I just said, screw it. I want this thing. I bought it. Take a guess, Gary, what I spent on that thing.
Man, I don't know the value. I'll say like $150.
More?
It can't be that much more. I'll go as high as $250. You should be able to get that for $250.
More?
Theresa,
$400?
No.
Okay, less than $400. This was a toy that probably retailed for what? Maybe $50?
No, not even that. I think it was $40, $45 bucks.
Yeah.
So I spent $350 on that thing.
On a 5-incher, eh? You hear that, Amanda Vassell?
No, Teresa's just a sucker.
Oh my gosh. That was probably, of all the things I've bought, like, I don't regret. I love it. I love owning it, but price-wise, definitely probably my biggest regret of everything in my collection. And like I said, I've paid over retail for stuff when I really like it. But that, by far, I was like, I shouldn't have done that. But I did.
Ooh, hurt the pockets. I think I got my 8-inch Vissel Donkey Dunny for about $200. So not terrible. But I think that was also kind of going rate for her.
I can vouch for the bargain hunting that Kara does because I reached out to her once I DM'd you on Instagram. I think it was the first time I reached out and basically saying, hey, you amazing collection, and I noticed that you're a Dunny collector. And I think I reached out because you had a question about the 20-inch Autumn Stag Dunny, and I decided to answer it privately to you. And I don't know if you missed out on the first 20-inch gray colorway of the Autumn Stag Dunny. For whatever reason, I reached out to you and said, hey, of all people who the next colorway should go to, it should be you. And I said I only have like 5 of them, and if you want, like, I will definitely set one aside for you because I believe it should go to you. I want this piece in your collection. And she's like, yes, okay, thank you. But then, because she's a bargain hunter, I guess someone sold theirs on eBay for like $100 less than retail, and she picked it up there instead.
You have no idea how many people gave me so much shit for that, by the way. You have no, they were like, Gary Ham DM'd you and said he was going to sell you an AP Stag. I was like, yeah. And they were like, and you bought it because it was $100 cheaper? Like,
that is an expensive ass piece. If you can get it for cheaper, by all means, I totally understand.
Whatever. It's my favorite 20-inch and I regret nothing.
I'm glad you got one, though.
I love it. Is eBay a main source of buying for you? Do you have any like secret bargain hunting tips of places to hunt? Because I mean, I'll look at eBay, but a lot of times I'm looking at Facebook groups or Instagram, maybe Mercari, but I've not really delved much into international stuff just because I just can't. But where's your favorite bargain hunting place?
Goodwill.
Yeah, I have no idea how these people find dunnies in places like that. What is that? Where do they live?
It happens. I've heard stories.
I see it all the time. Never to me. Never to I. What is this?
I don't know if it's because I'm in Kentucky or what, but I've yet to ever see toy stuff, bargain toy stuff at Goodwill. It's just, I don't even try. Why would I? Although, isn't there some like online site you can look at? You showed me that one, Scary, I swear.
Yeah, it was supposed to be our little secret.
Oh.
Jeez.
Well, send it over to me.
Well, it's no secret anymore. It's really not a secret, so I guess I can talk about it. But, so yeah, Kara, there, if you go to shopgoodwill.com and go to the gallery listings or gallery auctions, it's set up exactly like eBay. But the sellers are local Goodwill locations, and this is where they post up their really good stuff or stuff that's pretty much brand new, brought in package, and they'll list it through this website, and then it sells, and sometimes you can pick it up at the location if it's near your house, and you can get screaming deals on toys, kids clothes, really just about anything. You're getting this stuff pretty much at Goodwill prices or just a little bit more, and not many people know about this place. So if you do find a designer toy on there, there's hardly any bids, and sometimes the stuff ends with 0 bids.
Oh,
nice,
interesting.
Well, okay. Good to know. Yeah,
See?
I'm literally writing that down.
Secret snippet, no sharing. It's our own little secret. So, but yeah. So, what about you? Where's your favorite?
Okay. Yeah. So I did definitely rely on eBay, and I still definitely do. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll also say not having a day job definitely helps with those bids in the middle of the day. So I have an advantage there, but also really I just go to Facebook. I deleted my Mercari app in preparation for decon because I have no impulse control. So I had to do that. But yeah, really just Facebook. And I'll also say, like, this is not trying to be braggy at all. I think if anything, this speaks more to how kind and tightly knit our scene is. But people will straight up just bring me deals. Sometimes they're friends that are just unloading toys and they say, hey, Kay, like, I have this lot. Do you want this to swap for a custom, or, give me like a really great rate on it. And then sometimes I just have really, really, really great friends that also have connections and say, hey, Kay, I can get this for this amount. So it's really just, I think for me, it genuinely comes down to the people I know. But aside from that, silly answer, I'd say Facebook. Facebook is great. Definitely, I put my in search of posts out. And then it's almost as if people have a bidding war in the opposite effect of, like, I got my Jason Freeney Smart Bomb. And on eBay, man, that thing is going for probably about $150 more than what I got it for. I think I got it for $100 shipped. And the guy was just like, yeah, I'm dying to get rid of this. I had another man messaging me, trying to sell me his too. And I never lie or anything. I just say, hey, I've got an offer to buy for this shipped. Can you match it? If not, you understand,
Yeah.
And it just goes down like that. It's super simple. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I like that you're fighting for the pennies. You're like, well,
I'm constantly on the prowl.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, Facebook has been great for our scene, and there's some great groups out there. And I'm really bad about remembering the the whole idea of doing in search of posts. I think a lot of people do the sell posts, but in search of posts are great too. You can just go out there and be like, hey, people, I want this thing. If anyone has it and anyone doesn't want it, I will take it. And so I need to be better about that when I've got certain things I'm hunting. Now,
and honestly, like I will say, like, I like saving money, of course, but I feel like that's the deal and the hunt and the bargain is all part of it as well. At least for people like me, you know, you buy a toy, but you feel good about the toy that you just purchased. Yeah. So,
but you did mention something about the hunt. I know for me, sometimes the fun part of this scene for me can be the hunt for stuff and going around and searching for a thing that maybe released, 5-10 years ago. And do you find that that's part of the fun for you, is being able to hunt around, especially since you're new to the scene?
That's kind of a tough one because, being new to the scene, I've missed out on a lot of really great toys. So I don't know, like, if I could just buy some of these things retail right now, first drop, would it mean as much to me? I really don't think so. Just because there are a number of toys that, well, no, that's hard. I don't know. I just really love them all so much. I think for me, yes, truly the hunt does matter. And I think it also gives me sort of bragging rights for myself of just like, like, you got it for this much. And that's not something that I advertise. But again, like, I pat myself on the back for it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So yeah, I think that matters. And also there's something about rarity wise, while I don't think for me personally, rarity matters a whole lot, except for if I'm spending a certain amount of money on it. But yeah, rarity wise, I think it kind of enhances the hunt, which then, yes, enhances kind of the feeling that I get. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with the feeling of being like, oh my gosh, yes, I own this thing now. I'm one of 100 or one of 50 or one of 30 who have this thing in their collection. There's nothing wrong with being excited and proud about acquiring things. That's part of the fun for me, is being able to go out there, and especially if it's a older release or a colorway that was released overseas that I thought I'd never be able to get my hands on, and to find a way to get it, it's exciting.
Yeah, I also don't feel, I think, like the same amount of buyer's remorse because, again, I have spent a little over, what I've been comfortable spending on a toy before. And while I still love that toy, obviously, I'm just not looking at it like that's so badass. Like, I did that, like I did that deal. Like, I purchased the toy and it was good. And I think that's a very similar or the exact same feeling I get purchasing a toy I like retail. Because there was no, like, maybe if it was a drop that like is going to sell out super quick, but if it's just a drop that I purchased and it was normal and the deal was just really by the books, it's still a cool toy and I still love it. But maybe the energy wasn't the same way.
You like the hype a little bit. There's something to it.
I love that.
And I honestly, I mean, when you do look at the things you collect, not to say that you ride the hype train, but you do in a little bit, in the sense, just because when I look at your collection, I see the big names. You see Freeney and Kaz and that weird shoesy gun that I still don't even understand what it is.
He's just taking an Uzi and then different Nike shoes, Adidas shoes, collabing them together. I'm not exactly sure what the Uzi itself represents, other than maybe like this really, I notice it's in a lot of video games and a lot of topical movies, stuff like that. So I think maybe it itself has become an icon. But yeah, they're cool. But people definitely are mixed on them. But we don't have to go.
Well, no, you can talk about the shoesy. I get it now. It's a shoe Uzi.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. See, again, there's all these hidden meanings, and my brain
hadn't gotten that.
No, because
it's only in the wording, Theresa. Shoe Uzi. It's not like it's being hidden.
Oh gosh, shoe culture is not a culture I get, and I know there's always those bleeding lines where sometimes that culture bleeds into the toy world, and this is just an example of it. A shoe Uzi, a shoezy. But
I think that whole hype beast blend into the community is a very, very curious facet. But honestly, it doesn't confuse me. I think it makes total sense. I think the same guys that are interested in some of these more vibrant toys like the Cause BFFs and stuff like that. Like they're interested in the same kind of color palettes in their shoes and in their clothing. And also I think just people who collect have a natural tendency to collect. You know what I'm saying? I'm always looking for an excuse to collect something else. So I need to watch it with shoes, I'm sure.
I was gonna say, are you into the shoe fashion scene as well?
I think it's a little non-utilitarian for me just because I wear shoes every day. So if I spent like $300 on the shoes, I'd want to put them on a shelf. I wouldn't want to wear them, but that defeats the purpose. And then I couldn't even show them off, you know? Not for me, but they're really cool. I really appreciate so many designs. And maybe if I were in a different tax bracket, I would get down with it.
Yeah. So. But it does seem like for you, there is, I guess, I don't know, like, do you find yourself, I guess, being attracted to those more well-known kind of artists that have more of that hype behind them?
I'll say no. I'll say no. I don't even think I'm riding the Cause train. I will say Clean Slate is obviously my favorite design by him. But I think I have just, a very similar amount of small artists in my collection as I do big ones. I won't deny, obviously, the impact just social media wise, what those hashtags do with my page when I do Cause, Supreme, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Hype Beast, like those change the algorithm of my page. And that's definitely a pro. That's a good thing. But as far as my love for it, no, I love them all. I love them all for totally different reasons.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it is a good point. I mean, I do think while you see a lot of those big names and big sort of, I guess, hypier artists in your collection, it's still a very eclectic collection because from both a color standpoint, but from a piece standpoint, because you do kind of have across the board a variety of stuff.
Sizes, colors. I think the genre is all pretty consistent, but yeah, I think I agree. But I'm still learning, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still always buying and selling pieces. And I think, as we all are, but I think I'm just really trying to cater like Kay's perfect collection just for me, So we're getting
there. You had to term it, because whenever I try to term myself, the only way I can really describe what I collect is cute. But it's very eclectic within that world. Do you have what you would, like, if you had to name your style currently of what you collect, would you be able to term it?
That's really tough. And I would agree. Yours is cute. And I think I don't think that's a bad thing. I think some people use cute in a negative way, but I don't think so at all. Because I think I have a lot of cute as well. I'd say whimsical, maybe, I don't want to use the word adult, but maybe like adult whimsical. I don't think they're childish, but I have a lot of kitty characters. I don't know. Could you guys? What would you guys call my collection?
I'd just say it's great design. What you collect all has great form, wonderful shapes, great silhouettes, fun color palettes. It's just really great, clean form. You don't seem to collect a lot of the heavily sculpted stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. But I think what you collect seems to be through the lens of a graphic designer, interior decorator. You like the clean, poppy stuff.
Thank you.
I agree. It's not so much, I mean, it's eclectic, but it is more simplistic. It's more about the forms, and I don't know. Yeah, I think you got that right, Gary.
I did it.
You did it.
I'm out.
Oh gosh, you've said your piece. Now we'll never hear from the episode. I want to get back to you talking about hashtags, because one thing I want to know. So I found you. I don't know if it was in the Super Plastic group for a custom you were doing, or I just came across a post of yours through a hashtag.
I might have asked you to repost your 20-inch stag picture. Like, that doesn't even sound crazy.
No, you did that, but I remember like joining your page when you only had around like 500 followers. You just I've watched it just very quickly grow. You're almost up to 4,000. And I'm just wondering, is your Instagram for you, is it a business?
No, I mean, I make no money. I will be completely honest. Super Plastics reached out and they've gifted me toys before for kind of promo posts. And that was
smart.
like super dope. Yeah, it was awesome. I got my White Lotus for that. Like I didn't spend what, 75, 80 bucks. And I was probably going to post about it anyways, you fools. But no, other than that, I don't get paid. I have been contacted by some other companies who will either kind of ask for publication from me or just ask for like a shout out, that sort of thing. But no, it's not a business. It is straight up just a passion. I love taking these pictures. That's like 1/3 of it. 1/3 is appreciating the art. 1/3 is the decor in my home. And 1/3 is just these photos. Like they're so pretty to me, seeing these pieces with the lighting and oh, it's just such a romantic thing. I don't know.
Well, and I feel the romance too because I love your page.
I'm
serious,
Theresa.
It's so colorful and fun. And honestly, I'm slightly envious because one, like I've never gotten my home to the point of like you and Sarah Harvey level. Like I want to be there and I just never have gotten it there. But the other thing is you really keep up with your page and you even have a child. I don't even have a human child as an excuse to say like, sorry, I was making sure this kid stayed alive. But like, I don't know how you keep up with it? Like what keeps you going? How are you able to create so much content constantly? I mean, so I guess is this kind of your day job? Because I know you said that you're not really working. So maybe that's part of it. You've got a lot more free time, but I don't know. I'm envious you being able to keep up with this because if you go look at my page, I just really haven't posted lately because I haven't had the time.
I do not have a day job. Like you guys work real human jobs. Give yourself some credit. I'm literally home all day long, staring at these toys, moving them around, appreciating them, quite literally studying them. And that's another reason I have them around, just inspiration. Gary, maybe you agree with this. Do you just like ever hit a block and then go over to your wall of toys or your room of toys and just kind of relax and take a breath and just take it all in, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's one reason I own this stuff. Yeah, it's just, not only do I love it, but yeah, it's great creative inspiration at times.
Yeah, it's like a tangible textbook that you can reference whenever you need. It's just so great. But yeah, no day job, ample time. Yes, I have a son. But yeah, I mean, I really do think it's just a driving passion. I've been out of the house before and just been like, not anxious, but really, really excited to get back to my house because one, I really love my space and the spaces that I build for myself. But two, I love the art that's in the space. Like, I don't even think I can claim it as my own work. Like I'm literally just filling a room with other artists' beautiful work, you know, like, what a dream. And right? It's affordable art too. So awesome.
Yeah, this is a great spot for our sponsors, actually. So if you want to also buy other people's beautiful, affordable art, you can go to 3 of our great sponsors, 3D Retro, Strange Cat Toys, or My Plastic Heart. Just Google them, visit their websites, or if you happen to be on the West Coast, you can visit the physical location of 3D Retro. And if you happen to be on the East Coast or in the New York City area, be sure to stop by and visit My Plastic Heart. And if you happen to be a bargain hunter like Kara, we have some great promo deals that only our sponsors will give you if you're a Marsham listener. You can go to strangecattoys.com, use our promo code MARSHAM at checkout, and you'll receive 10% off your entire order. Or you can go to myplasticheart.com. If you happen to live in the States and spend $75 or more, be sure to use promo code TOYFAM at checkout, and you'll receive free shipping on that order. Otherwise, to stay on top of all the latest and greatest in designer toys, be sure to like and follow Spanky Stokes and the Toy Chronicle on all of the social medias. Okay, I'm going back on mute and back to you, Theresa.
Now, I've noticed, so this is another thing, when it comes to toy photography, is your house just like extremely well lit? Because I think I read in an article that you're just shooting off your phone. You don't use any kind of special equipment or anything. You're just doing what I do.
iPhone 10, baby. Yep.
Yeah. So is your house just like magically lit with like the best natural lighting in the world? It must be.
So yeah, I've been really fortunate to have a lot of spaces with great windows, and that's just kind of a must for me as a human. So I would hope that it did come through in my page too. So yeah, just a lot of really great light. Yeah. And then like a million photo editors.
Oh wait,
You
so
are
you
just in
do?
love with Kay, Theresa. This whole episode,
Oh,
people gave me a lot of crap when I kind of proclaim my love for Nathan Urevich's stuff. But you, the way you're talking to Kay, you were just enamored with her.
I Venmo'd her $25 before she called. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. It all makes sense
that
now.
would be a lie, but I will gladly take some money. No. What's a bromance for girls? A lady mance?
A mance? No, I don't know. I got nothing.
I don't know what a bromance is when it's between two girls.
Because it doesn't exist. Because jokingly, women don't get along with each other.
I found a lot of really great lady artists in this scene, and I will say that there are a lot of women that are really, I think, genuinely to their core looking for me to succeed. And that is also, like you said, Gary, somewhat of a rarity. And I think it's just like the nature here. Everyone's so freaking nice.
Yeah.
Our scene is the best. I'm in a really good mood tonight. You know, I'm the opposite of me trying to be hot sauce Theresa.
It's because I'm not talking. I'm not putting you in a bad mood like I usually do.
Yeah. Just
That's
talking
what it
about
is.
cute, awesome things. But, okay, so I'm going to ask a question. You find a way to take photos of yourself in your posts. Are you using a remote? Do you have helpers?
So if you open up your camera application on your iPhone, you will see there is a 10-second or I believe a 3-second self-timer. I will stack a variety of things up, like books on a chair or boxes or toy boxes, and just balance that baby. So
Nice. Okay, I like it. I like that it's not some official fancy shit. You're just sitting there like, yeah, like I propped up a bag of goldfish, sat my phone, hit self-timer, and boom.
Literally, yes. Maybe a bag of Pringles or something, or a box of goldfish. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. So.
I like it. Well, you definitely can't tell because it looks like someone sat and took all these photos of you.
I want to get a camera. I think going back to Sarah Harvey, I think she shoots with something a little more legitimate, and it obviously shows. Like you can zoom way the hell in, and it is so clear. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things I think for people to hear. Like if you're into photography, you don't need to get super fancy. Just find some good lighting and learn to use your phone, and you can do it.
Yeah,
but
just like Theresa. Yeah. Just like Theresa on the podcast. She doesn't need a fancy mic like the rest of us. She just uses her phone. And it's worked out for 2.5 years.
I love it. Exactly. 2.5 years you guys have been doing this. Wow.
3.5 years for me. Theresa joined, I don't know when.
Wait.
Maybe a year and a half in.
Awesome. How'd that happen? How'd y'all find each other?
I gotta look it up. Let me see. My collector episode was April 2017. Oh my gosh, it really has been over 2 years. I mean, granted, me joining for good was in May. Wow. So Gary had me on for an episode kind of like this, a collector's episode, and then I went to 5 Points, and he happened to be there because they did a 5 Points stunning release and all sorts of stuff, and we just hit it off. And he said, hey, want to come on and talk about 5 Points and maybe stay on regularly? And I said, sure.
You're like, how much am I getting paid?
Nothing. No, but I really wanted to have a collector perspective and a female perspective, and she sounds great on the show. She's peppy, she's happy, and so it just worked out.
You guys are awesome. I agree. It's a perfect dynamic. And what about George? How long has he been on?
He's been on a little longer than Theresa. So we've been doing this, 3 years, 6 months? I think he's probably been on for about 3 years. Something like that. He's really sporadic, though, off and on.
Okay. And Gary, is this just a passion of yours? Just love doing it, love talking toys?
For some reason, I hate it. Theresa will tell you I bitch about this and the workload and how I want to stop doing this and all that. But for whatever reason, I do truly enjoy just talking toys, spreading, I want to introduce more and more people to our toy scene. And I don't know. For whatever reason, I just enjoy doing this.
Well, we all appreciate it. I think more of us than you realize.
I think so, too. It's just not always seen, that's all. I think come Mondays, Chase will tell you, that's usually my more depressing days, because it's the lack of feedback. I hate Mondays.
Is Gary Ham Garfield?
No.
Now that I'm thinking back to it, I think you're Garfield.
I'm not
That's
Garfield.
crazy.
No.
Oh.
I do like lasagna, though.
Oh man, no, you have a love-hate relationship, but and I got
Gary, do you ever just want to quit art?
Quit art? I kind of have for the podcast. I mean, really, since I've been doing this, anyone who's been paying attention, I don't do much customizing anymore. Releases have slowed down, and that's a large part is because I'm more involved in this. For whatever reason, I'm not making money on this. I just enjoy doing this. I enjoy the editing. I enjoy the talking and all that. But this is not about me. This is about UK.
I'm curious about you guys. You guys are like toy idols. You guys are influencers in our game.
What?
Yes,
No.
of course. Oh, Theresa. She's like, no, stop. Okay,
I
sorry.
don't consider myself an idol in the least bit.
I think you're very well known, and I think people definitely respect the things that both of you have to say.
No.
You're my idol. I have to tell you guys, I actually got tattoos of your faces.
On the bottom of your feet, so you can walk on us, all over us.
You guys are my foundation. That's what that means.
Nice.
Yes.
Man, I feel, this is like the warm and fuzzy episode. I feel so good.
Too much stuff. We gotta stir something up.
I know. We'll keep this happy and peppy. Okay, let's jump around a bit. So, one thing I did want to talk a little bit more about is Dunnies, because I know that not only was that your gateway in, but it definitely seems to be a big part of your collection. That you really definitely seem to be in Dunnies. I know you built a giant Dunny, like rainbow Dunny wall. And I don't know, I just feel like that's a big part of your collection. Do you consider Dunnies to be like your favorite thing to collect?
I think that's also a tough question. I think because Dunnies, you mentioned they're kind of like the base of my collection. I think they're kind of like the base almost of designer toys. Maybe not the Dunny specifically, but definitely the blind box concept. At least that was, again, my introduction. And I think that's a lot of people's introduction, is that singular blind box. And so I think maybe obviously they're not the most expensive or fine art or kind of like schwanky thing in my collection. I think it's definitely the foundation and it is the base. So it was where I started. So I think I love them for that too. And I've really, I'm eager and I want to get into super plastic jankies, but they just don't do it the same way that the Dunny does for me. I said it.
You said it.
I said it.
Controversy.
I
like
love super
it.
plastic though, and I will go as far as to say I think super plastic's attention to detail and customer care far surpasses kid robots. So there, I said that too. There's pros and cons to both.
I like this. You are
I don't
speaking
care.
the truth, girl.
Come
I
for
like
me.
it.
Remember all
I like
that stuff that people were sending the UK? It stops here. No more.
All the kid, yeah, right? They're like, dox her, get her.
Now, when you say that, is it for you? Is it just that Dunny form, just the simplicity of that shape that pulls you in?
It's the simplicity of the shape, and it is, I think the ears are absolutely essential, and I think that's why we saw the introduction of Gugamon with super plastic. I think Paul absolutely knows that. Well, the Janky's body and his silhouette and everything to him, it's great, it's cute, it's finished, it's nice. I just think he knows and agrees with me. No, I think we all know that those ears are just really, really essential. It just adds so much height and so much character, but also like customizing wise, which is literally what the Dunny is for. It gives you so many options. Whereas Janky's ears, those cute little triangles, like for me at least, I felt was really challenging to work with.
Yeah, and there's something, Dunnies have been kind of a crux of the scene for a long time. I don't think you probably talk to anyone and it would be very rare, I think, to talk to someone and them, one, not know what a Dunny is or not have at one point had one in their collection. It's just one of those foundational types of items. I do think, though, that it was kind of a thing. I'll throw in some back in the day, Gary. It was this thing for a lot of people early on. And I feel like as of late, it's a little more rare to find someone get as invested in the dunny. So it's really refreshing, I think, to see you, a newer collector, really go all in on them, because I don't think that's as common these days. But yeah, like I'm curious from your perspective. You definitely seem attached to forms, right? Like the natural simplicity and shape of things.
Mm.
So if you think about dunnies and kind of how they've evolved over time, do you find yourself more attracted to sort of the old school dunny designs? Do you like the new direction they've been taking and pushing the sculpts? Where do you kind of fall in that world?
Yeah, no. So as far as, and we're just strictly speaking dunnies here, as far as Kid Robot. So I think I hate a lot of the older designs, and I think that's natural for me personally. I hate a lot of old movies. I hate a lot of old books. I think with modernity, obviously, I can relate to that more, with something being more modern and up to date. So I think while I still appreciate a lot of the older dunnies, considering that most of them are really heavy on the paint jobs and not so much on the sculpt, I really just love how much like Kid Robot's been working with the sculpts, and they've been doing some crazy stuff. So like with the Arcane Deviation series they just dropped, like, wow, that one, it was not my cup of tea at all. I don't own any of them from that series. That's a lie. I own the forest one with the ghost in it. But I think that whole series is absolutely magnificent. I think like the production value is crazy. I think it's wild that Kid Robot can pull stuff like that off. So yeah, I definitely like the newer ones for sure. For sure.
Nice. Okay. So you, even though you're really into forms, you don't feel like the dunny form is lost or being too over sculpted or sort of losing the dunny by what they're doing. You like that they're sort of pushing the envelope?
There are definitely some that I think definitely lose the dunny form. I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss for me. And again, the Arcane Deviation, just to speak specifically on that, because I think that one really pushes the form of the dunny in such an abstract way. I think there's definitely, obviously, there's validity in that, and there is, I think it's just not my type. But I do, there's a line. I'll just say there's a line that they walk.
So when something does cross that line and it feels a little overly sculpted to yourself, is it something that you still want to purchase because it's a dunny, or do you generally tend to pass on it?
I think specifically Arcane, just color-wise, doesn't really hit my marks for my collection. I'm trying to look and see. I'm positive there's some dunnies that I would claim over-sculpted, but I would still own them because they're just cutesy. Okay, actually, good example. So the 3-inch Junko Mizuno, I hate dunnies with no arms. I think they're disjointed. I think they're awkward. Hers does not have an arm. And I think it's because she over-sculpted the hair, really balanced it out. So in that perspective, it was a really great over-sculpt, if you will. I think it really depends on the dunny. Yeah.
I mean, it does sound like for you, it's more just about what speaks to you. It's not, you don't mind when they're sculpting elements or when it's a simplistic form. It just has to be something that fits what you like. It's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And I will also say that I would argue that my general views and likes are a little larger than what my collection might portray. So there's definitely been some kind of spookier pieces or darker pieces, specifically like black colorways and mono colorways, that I really just can't justify because I know they'll stick out like a sore thumb in my collection, and that's really going to irk me. But that's just the type of person I am. But that doesn't mean I don't like them. And exactly, again, I bring it up a third time, Arcane Deviation, really awesome series, really crazy sculpts. I just know it would not fit in with my collection, and there's a number of pieces like that.
Well, and all of us as collectors, you get to a point where you start to develop a scope. You have to have a line, right? And there you get to a point, I think, where you fine tune it over and over, and you're still new. So I think you're collecting a pretty vast amount of stuff. But I think over time you'll continue to kind of hone in on that. And there's nothing wrong. Like I'm the same way. I look at the Arcane series and I'm like, holy shit, that's insane. That is some killer sculpts, killer execution, fantastic series, but it's just not for me. It's not something that would fit on my shelves. So, but I'm going to throw you a question. Okay, so if you had a choice and going forward, Kid Robot had to decide, and they said, we are only going to ever produce just in the dunny form, only do pad printing, paint applications, no sculpt, or we'll only ever do series that have some kind of sculpting element to it. And it may be a variation of levels of detail, but there's always going to be more beyond just the base dunny form. Which path would you pick?
Definitely the sculpt path. Easy.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think the Spiritus D, the most recent series, really nailed that on the head. A very tasteful, minimal sculpting.
So you like the mix?
I love the mix. I think it's essential.
And it's interesting you say that, because, I mean, I think there's a lot of people, and maybe this, again, is because you're newer, but I know there's a lot of dunny collectors who have been collecting for a very long time, and they really like the dunny form as it is. And so for a lot of people who have been into dunny and are really into this particular form, for them, the sculpting is losing the dunny. The form is lost. It's taking it too far away from its roots. It's just interesting always to hear. Yeah?
I'm just shocked. That's terrible to hear. I think there's definitely just a middle ground. I think there's a middle ground. And I think also I'm not consciously making these decisions. I think I'm pulling down like my top 10 favorite dunnies, and then I just see this pattern amongst them, you know?
Oh, spit them out. What's your top 10?
Oh, God, right now. Oh, sheesh. Okay. I meant that metaphorically pulling them down. I think I have like 20 dunnies out right now.
I thought you actually had like a top 10. You were going to be like, yeah.
Okay, well, Gary Ham's Stag is on that list. And I will say, so I think Squink, I think his Don't Panic Dunny will have to be one of them. Oh, yeah. I think the Spiritus D, this Nyx. Do you guys know that one?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. One of my recent favorites. I'll get you the others later.
I actually I feel like I agree with you that I like the dunny form. I like it when they find a way to add sculpts to complement it, but not pushing it so far to the point where it's maybe unrecognizable. And I do think this latest series, the Spiritus, is it Day? Spiritus Dia?
I have literally no idea. I've been saying it definitely wrong.
I'm going to say Dia, Spiritus Dia. But they did do a really good job, I think, of sort of merging those worlds together. And I have to say, I am incredibly jealous of the chase you pulled, that Lisa Tom doll's chase. Oh, it's flipping gorgeous. Have you seen that one, Gary?
I think I know the one you're talking about.
I just DM'd it to you so you can see.
It's the white Nyx, and she's a creamy white. So I will just I will interrupt and I will say those were not mine to keep. So I got to keep 7 from that case. The case was sent to me by my buddy, Eric M. And he is one of like the main players in my connections. He's such a good friend of mine. If it is allowed, I am plugging him hardcore right now. So he actually technically pulled that chase, that little lucky shit, but it was my hands that pulled it. But she's so beautiful, and she is truly so creamy with such a light gradient on it. Very tasteful, very pared back. Oh, it's so beautiful.
I'm looking at it now, and you're right. It's stunning. It's beautiful.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's just simple elegance. I really love it.
It's just so beautiful. It was really well done.
So pretty. What I was going to say, I want to know who this secret, what was his name? Eric
M. So his Instagram, I'm going to sound like an idiot saying it. Eric, change your handle. Talky Round Hole.
Yeah.
And I follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's such a great dude. I think he owns one of your stags, Gary, the actual wooden one. And so, yeah, he was one of the first people I met in this scene too. And he's just such a goofball. Him and his wife are really great people. And I think he sent me probably countless dunnies to add to my collection. Really genuine guy. So, Eric, if you're listening, I love you.
I talked to Eric through DMs. He's a super awesome guy. Yeah.
Very cool.
Now I got competition. I love you more.
Eric, you hear that? Fight.
Yes, step it up.
Now, talking about this most recent Dunny series, I've actually, I think I've said it a couple of times, how they did this series called the Fatale series. It was an all-female series back in the day. And for the longest time, I've said, I would love to see another all-female series. Like, why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done a Fatale series 2 or 2.0? And so it was really exciting for me to finally see another all-female series made. But for me, I always get bugged when they do themed series because I feel like they end up limiting the artist. And I would have loved to see all these artists just do whatever they want, like not be told, hey, it has to fit a goddess theme or whatever. But I'm curious, do you, as a big follower of Dunnies, do you have a preference over theme series versus non-theme series? Or does it just not even matter? It's just about if you like the design?
So firstly, I will say Kid Robot, that's really kick-ass that you guys have done an all-female series before. I don't think I ever knew that. So I guess this is their second one?
Yep. If you look up the Fatale series,
Okay, stop. It's not Fatale. It's Fatale, like femme fatale.
Which I should have known, Fatale, but it didn't really click. Yeah, I have it right here. I have the Tara McPherson, the Junko.
Yep.
Yeah, a few of the Amanda. Oh, no, there's only one Bissell. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so 2 all-women series. I know a lot of people might roll their eyes, but as a woman myself, I think that's pretty cool. So thank you, Kid Robot. Secondly, I think as the purchaser, I don't mind if there's a series or a set concept, rather, to work around. But if I were a participating artist, I think I personally would need those guidelines. I absolutely loathe when someone's like, make me something. I don't care what it is. Just do it. Like, I need a guideline, but I definitely know there are artists that love that sort of thing. I also do think that the series they chose and the concept they chose was really interesting and forced me to Google some things. So I learned a little bit. I think hopefully someone else learned a little bit. So I really did like it. And I really liked how they really corresponded with each other well. Each other well.
There is sometimes a thing to themes of being able to sort of make a cohesive, I guess, look across a variety of artists. And I do think they did a really cool thing with the case design. The boxes were like shimmery, rainbowy. So pretty. And Gary, I'm sorry I can't say Fatale right. Is it Fatale?
It's okay. If you
Like
want to say Fatale, that's fine.
Fatale. It's what it looks like on paper.
It might be French, and they say everything wrong.
I'm usually the one that says everything wrong, so
maybe you're wrong and I'm right, and you were making fun of me, and you need to take it back.
Could be.
Undo it.
I hate to side with Gary, but I think it might be Fatale. But I will start saying Fatale. I will.
Don't.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about. All right. Let's move on from Dunnies. I want to talk more about your displays. And so one of the reasons I think that I've always struggled, and I'm sure I've talked about it before, but I am not the kind of person who wants to just go out and buy a bookcase or, like certain IKEA shelving and that everyone, utilizes with lots of risers and stuff. Like, I want to make sure it looks really good. And I feel like you've just really honed in on finding ways to just make the toys fit your home. But do you have any tips as far as finding good things for displays? Or, it seems like you do a lot of wall shelving, but what do you feel like works? Like, where do you find all the different, I guess, shelving and pieces you use for housing your collection?
So first I'll say I definitely rip from a lot of other people who have great displays. So I'll just look around tags, Pinterest, Instagram, see what other people are doing, see what I like. And then I think recently a lot of my pieces have been IKEA, which is kind of not on par with my usual. I'm really a thrifter. I do like the Goodwill. So, if I can find a cheap shelf and throw some white paint on it and that makes it minimal, bam, I'll do it. I like secondhand stuff, but also IKEA. But it really hurts my soul to see that collectors have, thousands of dollars worth of items in their garage or their storage unit or just sitting in boxes, vinyl sweating. And I think I use that as kind of like, why own this if I'm not displaying it exactly how I want to and seeing it when I want to, so I think I use that in those energies of like, don't be wasteful. If you're not going to use it, sell it.
Hell yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And sell it for a reasonable price to someone who else wants to love it and appreciate it.
Love it and appreciate it. Exactly.
Now,
also, I will say that if I get bargains on stuff, I can usually sell it for a similar bargain, so that's a good feeling too.
Yeah. I love knowing that I helped someone out. Not everyone could afford the $400 piece.
Now, because you're so into it, are you at the stage where you have closets full of boxes or tubs full of things?
I'll say definitely the boxes, and that's kind of a tricky thing I'm working with because there are a number of boxes that I want to appreciate just for the art alone. As far as like stuff itself and toys and vinyl, I think I have one box of like smalls because I think everybody goes crazy with those cheap smalls at first. So I think and I usually get rid of those by if someone makes a purchase or like I have two gal pals, my friend who's also a practicing artist, Doozy, and then my friend Danny, and they both have daughters. So I have like a number of Tokidoki figures and just little dunnies and this, that, and the other set aside for their girls. But yeah, I think other than that, I've been pretty mindful. And I recently sold a number of pieces, which hurts my heart. But again, if I can't display it, what's the point of having it? It's just hoarding. I don't want to be a hoarder. We are. I just display my hoardings.
Well, speaking of that heartbreaking sale that I think you're talking about, I remember seeing on Instagram you making a post about how excited you were to finally get a fufa from
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, exactly. Yo Gabba Gabba. It was produced by King Robot, and you were excited. Like, I finally found it. Added to my collection. She's beautiful, and then I feel like several weeks later she was put up for sale.
It was probably about 2 months later. She was the last I got. I kept Muno and Broby. There's 5 of them, and I kept 2 of them. I didn't have the space, and I think that is the first collection that I collected all of the characters. And I think maybe I was after it for the wrong reasons of really just being like, I'm going to finish this one,
right.
And I had them, and don't get me wrong, they looked beautiful together. But I reminded myself, like, Kara, is this for the form and is this for the piece, or is this for the 5 of them in the collection as the set,
So we're learning that you're not interested in being a completionist. You're probably not going to own everything that someone makes, every colorway that comes out.
I'm 100% not a completionist at all.
I like that. I agree with you 100%.
I just feel like if I have the figure, why do I need them in a million colors?
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
I agree, but again, this is where it gets hard. So you're at a stage, right, where you're new and you're hunting old. So you see that there are 10 colorways out there, and you can sit and say, okay, do I really need all 10 of these? No, I really like that purple one. I'm going to hunt that one down. when you're in the thick of it, you don't know if that's there's probably going to be more colors, but what are they going to be? And will you like them more than this one? And it's that constant freaking, it's hard. But I mean, that's where, but I think that's why the scene there's always going to be buy, sell, trade aspects. And I think that's part of it is you may get really into something and you buy a piece, and then a couple months later, another one comes out and you're like, shoot, I really like that colorway too. And you buy that, and you might end up, like you said, with 5 or 6 of the same thing. And now suddenly you look at it and you realize, you know what? That piece I bought a couple months ago that I thought I really liked, I end up liking this one more. I'm okay to let that go. It's just part of the game. It's part of the game.
Does material matter to you, Kay?
In what regard? As far as like the vinyl they use or the plastic they use or the resin?
Yeah, is the material they decided to produce in, does that play any sort of factor whether you purchase it or not?
I don't think it matters, and I'm also still learning. So I'm sure if I just made some blanket statements, someone would come in and be like, well, this is PVC and this is blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, oh.
They absolutely will.
Yeah, so I really don't know. I think vinyl is very fun just for customizing. Obviously, we can cut into it pretty easily. I think, are you guys familiar with Coat? I'm going to botch his last name, Escriva, and he works with Thundermates, and he does like the creepy G, the creepy mouse, the dissected Disney characters.
Yeah. like the melty goofy?
So that's by Matt Gondek, but yes, along the exact
Oh.
same vein. So I
gotta
don't
look-
know if I don't think it's resin, but his pieces are definitely not vinyl, and I love the weight to them. So I think there's definitely the weighted aspect of different materials other than vinyl. But no, it doesn't matter as far as purchasing. I think if I like the piece, I'm going to like the piece. But I think, again, I might appreciate the piece and speak more highly of the piece if it hits more of my targets.
I get you.
Now, related to that, I know I'm a stickler for quality. And it's not so much whether it's resin or vinyl, but I want that thing to be polished and pristine and well done. Have you, and I found being in the scene that I've kind of learned over time that the way it's photographed or the way it's presented, it may or may not be the same in hand. So have you had an experience where you've hunted things and once you have it in hand, it doesn't meet expectations of what you had in your head or what you saw online?
I think so, yeah. I think one of them, and I'm only mentioning his name because I don't think he's lowbrow and I don't think this will hurt his career at all. And that's not at all what I'm trying to do. But I think my Stephen Harrington Cosmic Cone was definitely kind of I'm not going to say a bummer because I still opened it up and I loved the piece and I loved the colors, but it felt like it was almost used. And it was a brand new piece, like it had just dropped. And that was one of those pieces that I bought a little above retail. So maybe that's also why I have a sour tone toward it. But it really did have some like scuffs and stuff on it. And it was very lightweight. So for that, I was a little meh.
Meh.
It happens.
It does. But I still love it. And I think it's a beautiful piece. And again, as long as it looks pretty on the shelf in the display, at the end of the day, that's really the buy or sell factor for me. But just in the little, when I'm discussing with people like you guys or my friends, or if someone says, should I buy this piece? I'm going to bring stuff like that up, you know?
Well, I mean, that's fair. It's interesting to me though, like you definitely look at your display and kind of say like, will it fit? And I just don't do that at all. I mean, I have an aesthetic and I like it, but I'm not necessarily buying in my head and thinking like, oh, will this fit in with this group of stuff that I already have? I just do it.
And that's fine. I think your stuff is really cohesive. I think you're really letting your guttural instincts take charge, and you can clearly see what you like. And I think it communicates well.
It fits. But have you like sat and ever looked at your shelf and been like, I own too much pink. I need to balance it out. I need to stop buying pink pieces.
Yes, especially when I'm trying to like put the rainbow stuff together. I'm like, oof, heavy on the pinks or the blues. So yeah, definitely. And I don't even think that's maybe like me catering toward a color. I think that's maybe just certain artists work with certain colors. And I don't know, maybe I think popularity definitely plays a role.
Yeah. How do you feel about trends, or does it matter to you if something has a special treatment, say chrome or translucent stuff or even glitter? Any of that appeal to you?
So ironically enough, my gal pal Erin and I were just talking about how growing up, we always just kind of, I think our brains told us like transparent and glitter and stuff like that was really trashy, really chinchy. And then I see them, artists, using these techniques in such fine art ways that really blew me away. And I think it really makes my brain think like, oh, like, do I like this? Like, I don't think I'm supposed to. Like the Spiritus Dia or D, the NYX, perfect example. She's purple, she's sparkly. She kind of has like, I think the plastic itself could easily get dingy if I gave it to my son, but it's not supposed to, you know? And so I think it reads very beautifully there and very elegant. But yeah, I think it definitely matters. And every little choice that a toy designer makes, every choice from the paint, if it's matte, if it's glossy, if it's even eggshell, it matters. It all portrays something.
She's a woman after my own heart, Gary. She cares about all the details. And you all always say I'm so picky, and I'm like, because like when I look at something, like it all needs to fit. And it's just everything you say. I'm like, yes, like the finish and the composition and the material and the colors, like all of it needs to mesh. And like there'll be this moment where you know what you like and you look at that thing and you're like, yes, that fits. That's it. I
Oh,
want
it gets
that.
down to the nitty gritty for sure. I agree. I think like people will somewhat mock maybe artists for scrutinizing over those little things, but every stroke, every placement of glitter, all of it makes up the larger picture of your character. Yeah, totally. Totally agree.
Gary, one thing I've always appreciated about just watching your Instagram account is it's not just about the toys. You're kind of letting us into your world a little bit. It's, you know, so a lot of the collectors who post their stuff, sometimes it's only about the toys, and you really have no idea who's behind it, what they look like, and whatnot. But when I go to a convention, I'm going to recognize you. I'm going to put a face to that collection in your Instagram account. So it's nice being able to see what you look like, what your fashion sense is, and all that sort of stuff. So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you. Good. I'm glad that's coming off well. Awesome.
Well, no, I like it too that it's Sarah Harvey 2.0.
No, not 2.0. I think I'm the unpolished Sarah Harvey. I think she's very together, and I think it's fun to be a little nitty gritty and kind of remind everyone like I fart too. You know, everybody poops. We're all the same.
If I can get you to burp by the end of the episode, that would make a lot of listeners happy.
Yeah, got you. I got you.
If you want to fart, though, have at it. But burp's kind of
you guys have no idea. I've been continuously farting, so nonstop.
She messaged me before we started to confirm if it was video or just audio. And I said, just audio. And I said, you could be in PJs, you could be naked. I don't care. Do your thing. And then she was like, naked. I said, yeah, no one will know. Do it.
Teresa's chilling naked. Gary's chilling naked. Everyone's naked. Oh, yeah.
It's really unfortunate that we are audio only because visually George and I are always sitting here shirtless and boxers. And I'm sure you two are sitting there in your bikinis or underwears or whatever.
Yes, that's what women casually dress in literally all day long.
Yeah.
And full faces of makeup. I actually don't ever take my makeup off.
Right. I don't wear makeup in public. I only wear it at home. It's just for me.
In case my husband bursts through the door at any given moment. Honey.
See, Kate, that's one thing. In your photos, you're always wearing like a really cool vintage dress or something like that. You need to do what the majority of us see our wives in when we come home. Oversized t-shirts, sweatpants, some fuzzy socks on. You need to get a little more real with us. You're kind of showing
that's how I dress. I swear that is not a facade.
Really? Okay.
I love my clothes. Okay. I love my clothes. And I thrift. I love to thrift. Again, baller on a budget.
Baller on a budget. That's the title of the episode.
It's the title of my life.
Theresa, I think we found our fourth, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, George needs to be on. What's he doing? I'm gunning for his job right now.
No, but I'm serious. You've had good chemistry with us. You banter. You get toys. You kind of got the new, fresh eye on the toy scene. I think you'd be a great person to fold into our podcast if you're up for it.
Oh my God, stop. Is this happening?
I think he's being serious, Kay.
Well, I'll let y'all talk about that. That's up to you guys. That doesn't have anything to do with me.
This is something Theresa and I have been talking about for months.
Are you for real, you guys?
Well, we didn't specifically talk about you, but this has worked really well. You know, I don't know about every episode, but if we can reach out to you on occasion to join when someone else, like tonight when George isn't available, you know, you'd be a great third to join us.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys know where to find me. Okay. I am literally always around.
But with that means I also get to vent and bitch to you.
No, you cannot ruin her like you ruined me. No.
Do not dim my light, Gary.
All right.
Exactly. You took my light and you killed it. You snuffed it.
I see the light, Theresa. Don't worry. It's still there.
You've made me all bitter, and you've made me all like see this like behind the curtain, and you killed it.
It's not me though. I need to shelter you more from just because doing this podcast, you do hear the stories and the behind the scenes stuff that you really it just bums you out to hear that stuff.
It kills me.
There has been an ample, I would say, amount of drama that I think honestly is very natural in literally any scene. And obviously it does add a little flair to it. But I didn't realize how many miscommunications could happen. In this scene that I don't know, there's a lot of really respectable people, but then you see them lose their cool, myself included. It's just kind of funny.
Me
I don't
too.
know.
It happens. It's
Now-
just, the thing to do is realize your mistake quick enough that you can delete it before someone takes a screenshot.
Yeah.
Does it affect you? Like when you see toy drama going on, does it have any kind of negative effect on you? Do you kind of go, oh, this kind of...
No. I see people kind of like, oh, this makes me like not even want to be in this, like leave, get out right now. I feel like like I said, in every single niche of anything ever, there will always be drama and arguments, petty or large. I think they happen for a reason. I think we learn from them, but no, it does not make me want to walk away from my entire collection and all the friends and the artists I've met here. That's silly.
It's a healthy outlook.
Yeah. Now, do you like a good debate? Because we love our debates in the scene.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I think people will kind of gutturally defend certain artists or collectives or shops, and that's totally natural, especially if you have, your own stake in them and your friends and they've worked hard and blah, blah, blah. But I think I can talk about an artist or a piece or a shop and critique it and still really respect it. If anything, I'm only talking about it because I respect the craft and I respect it to put my time toward it. People will say, I've critiqued Cause before, which I think is an obvious, easy one to go for. And people are like, well, you own Cause pieces. You obviously support him. And I'm like, oh, you got me. Yes, I do. And that's why I speak about him. And I like to talk about it in his work, this, that, and the other. So, yeah, I think critique is healthy. I think it is the only way for artists to grow. It's essential.
I feel like we're interviewing you for the position.
Right?
How am I doing, you guys? No.
You're acing it. Gary, I know you, and I know you're probably watching the clock and you're like, oh my gosh, we have to stop. But we didn't even get to talking anything about her customs, any about that whole side of things.
Oh, that's fine. It's not a thing. It's just for fun.
It is a thing.
I mean, literally, yeah, it's happening.
I think that's another way people have found you because and I would venture to say probably the custom you're known the most for is your floating head ones, your space ones, where the head is kind of a moon on a spacesuit and it looks like it's floating. Am I right? Are those your most popular customs?
I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think so. And I think I say that just because I took those to an actual series. Usually I just do one-offs, usually 1 to 3. If I'm really feeling it, I'll maybe do 4 or 5. But even that's kind of rare. But yeah, with the Space Force, the love was enough to make a good deal of them. And that was really awesome.
Do you see yourself wanting to, I know you said it's a thing for you. You just do it on the side. It's a way for you to make some funds for buying toys. But do you want this to be a big thing you grow where you can be, joining different custom shows and building up that side of things for you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, my ideal life would be lived as a practicing artist. I think I need to be, remain realistic, but still optimistic about that. But yes, of course, that would be so awesome.
People out there, get Kay in some shows.
You guys, please pay my bills. No, I mean, Gary, you've made it literally professional. You're working for Funko, right? I mean, is that ever kind of hard to balance that between corporate and just, I mean, you're not customizing, like you said. Is that draining you?
No, not at all. I've always had a good balance of work life and personal. It's never been an issue for me, and I'm fortunate that I have a day job that I do enjoy and feel fulfilled creatively. So when I get home, I'm not creatively drained on anything. I still have plenty of hours in the day and the weekend to do what I need to do. And the great thing about having a day job is it takes care of all the life stresses for me. The bills are paid, healthcare, retirement, all that sort of stuff. So my free time is my free time. If I want to take a week off and binge watch something, I can do that. If I'm motivated enough to take on some side work, I can do that too. There's always been enough hours in the day and weekend to do what I need to do. It's never been an issue.
Well, good. Woo! I'm glad to hear that.
Gary, I'm wiped. This was super awesome and energizing, and now I'm just I need a nap.
I think it's time for bed, not a nap.
Go ahead, Gary. No, I was going to say,
You told me to go ahead, and you said, just go ahead. This is how it works.
How does it feel to be interrupted a lot? It's not fun, is it?
I love it. I love you both.
Have you had any opportunity to attend any of the toy events, conventions, or like anything like that?
DCon will be my first in November, and
nice.
I'm so excited. Yes, I'm so stoked.
Oh my gosh, we can meet you in person. We'll be
Are you both
there.
going to be there? Yes, awesome. That's so cool. I'm so excited to put some freaking faces to names. You know, we have so many virtual relationships. It's like, I swear I have friends. I just haven't met any of them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're going to have so much fun. I'll never forget my first decon.
It's like a little discouraging because there was definitely a number of people. And again, I welcome the conversation. But it was a little discouraging to read people just be like, oh, like the last real decon was like last year, the year before that. Like this one's going to suck. And I'm like, I might still have a good time. Like I'll definitely try. I think I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. It's an evolving show, and it's something that we're going to have Ben on actually in a few weeks to just talk about decon. But it's been evolving, and I mean, I kind of got in near the tail end of Pasadena and then transitioned to Anaheim, and it has changed even for the few I've gone to. But regardless of the show and how it's evolving, there is just something that is so fun to just going somewhere where you're just with your people, where you're with your toy family. So regardless of the way the show is and where it's evolving, I think you're going to have an absolute blast just being in the mix of all of us. You know, like
I'm geeking out. You're going to be so excited.
You're going to love it.
I feel like I'm going to be so warm. It's going to be awesome.
It's what, like every time I go, I'm so exhausted and it's so worth it. Like I'm losing my voice. I get myself sick, but it's just so fun just to see everyone and have everyone in one place. And over time, like I started out very shy at these shows, and you just kind of get to know more and more people and just becomes home. Like it's like little mini family reunions, and it always goes by way too fast. And that's why I'm excited for decon. I don't know if I'm going to love the show and buy lots of stuff, but I'm just excited to see all the people. It's just missed.
I personally can't even see myself buying too much merch just because I think in my veins it will all be very expensive, which I've been warned, and maybe I will eat my words when I walk out bankrupt. But I'm really going to experience the people, the pieces, honestly, a lot of photographs. But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really great regardless. I'm so excited. I have no idea what to expect or what to pack. Do you pack anything, or do you just bring like an empty
We go
suitcase?
naked. No.
Yeah, that's the memo I got from Theresa.
Yeah. So
if you end up joining the show, we'll get you a press pass, and people just give you stuff for free. Then you won't have to spend any money.
I love free stuff.
Don't deceive her. He's deceiving you.
I'm just trying to entice her with all the advantages and perks that we don't really have. We really don't get anything from listening to you. You've already received way more than we have in the past 3.5 years. We don't receive free product and stuff like that.
That is really curious to me. Off the record, I will say you guys should really be pushing a little harder, because if you're giving these people absolutely free publicity and people listen to you guys, you are, as cringy as it sounds, influencers. Like, yeah, that's not free. That's not free stuff. You guys don't ever have DMs of like, please talk about me on Marsham.
Yeah.
It is so funny to me that you're like, yeah, like I've gotten free stuff here and there. Well, I've never gotten, not like for all the photos and stuff I've posted or whatever, not once have someone like reached out and been like, hey, you really like these things. We'd love to give you something as long as you post it.
See, that's crazy to me. That's truly, truly crazy to me. I really enjoy your photography. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope that all the conversation around decon doesn't discourage you, especially since it's your first time. I mean, you just got to go and experience it for yourself and see. And I hope you love it. I think you'll love it.
I don't think I'm discouraged. I think I'm super pumped. I will say, I think maybe I wish I had some past years for reference, just because I do feel out of the loop. I am out of the loop. So,
well, it'll be interesting for you with fresh eyes to see. I'm kind of curious, honestly, to hear what you think of the Anaheim decon without any previous experience of what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can like critique it just organizationally and, you know, how that stuff is and vendors and whatnot. We'll see. Again, I don't even know what to expect.
Really just expect a great time and great toys. You're going to have an awesome time. But look, speaking of time, look at the time.
Do we want to wrap the episode, Gary?
Sure.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kay. This has been fantastic. Take a few minutes and let our listeners know where they can find you.
Yeah, thank you guys again. This was so awesome, truly an ethereal experience. Thank you, Theresa, and thank you, Gary, of course. You guys can find me at KayMay Creates, and that's on Instagram. And I've yet to set up a Facebook page or domain name, so I'll get back to you guys with that.
She's going to get legit. Yeah, this has been fun. Thank you. I feel like I blabbed on and on and on about how awesome you are, but you deserve it because you are awesome. So, yeah, if you all want to find me, check me out on Instagram. I'm tmhawk24.
And I'm Gary Ham on Instagram and superham.com.
This has been another episode of the Marsham Toy Hour. We do this every week, not because we have to,
but because we want to.
It's so weird to hear you say that. Until our next transmission, we're signing off. Bye, Marshamites.
Bye.
That was weird. I don't like doing the outro.
It's fine.
Keep whichever like a natural.
Yeah. Anyways, Kay, usually I would stick around and talk with our guests after a record, but unfortunately I told my wife I would be done at a certain time and go get some food, so I got to go.
Sweet.
Cool. Thank you guys.
All right,
all. Awesome.
All right. Talk to you later.
This was fun.
Bye.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye.